Dead by Daylight? More like Dead by Boredom. Sorry, that was bad. That was, okay. The casting of Frank Stone is the latest interactive story game from Supermassive Games, but this time it's set in the Dead by Daylight universe. Unfortunately, outside of being loaded with Dead by Daylight Easter eggs like costume pieces from killers, or for some reason a bunch of hidden plushies based on the killers from the asymmetrical multiplayer game, this doesn't really feel like it uses the IP to its advantage until the very end of the story. I'm talking like the last 10 minutes of the game, and that's a real shame. Whether you love Dead by Daylight or not, it has some of the most interesting original killers that have been introduced to the horror genre, with memorable designs that make you want to learn more about these characters. So when I heard Supermassive Games was doing a single-player story game set in the Dead by Daylight universe, I was stoked. The studio that brought us Until Dawn and the Quarry felt like a perfect pairing for this IP. But I'm really sad to say that this game just left me wanting more and feels like a wasted opportunity. The game tells a story that constantly jumps back and forth between the past and the present. One half of the narrative follows this group of teenagers that are making a horror movie based on a killer named Frank Stone, and the other half of the story is set during modern day, following this group of strangers that have been contacted by this mysterious collector who's looking to acquire all of the pieces of the highly controversial film and reassemble it. One of the major downsides with the structuring of the story in this game is that while everything with the young filmmakers is significantly more interesting than the modern day stuff, with how they decide to unfold the story and reveal certain narrative beats, the game completely loses all tension, which is the last thing you want to happen in a horror story. Despite this being a shorter experience I was able to complete across 2 sittings over the course of 5 to 6 hours, it still feels like it takes forever to get going, and by the time the game reveals what its plot is going to be about, I found it really hard to care. It doesn't help the story gets overly convoluted for no reason, and quickly feels messy when it feels like it's trying to come off more clever than it really is. Most of the big reveals that take place in this game made me want to roll my eyes all the way into the back of my head. The one saving grace here is the fact that I enjoyed most of the characters in this title. They're likable just enough that it made me want to push through to the end, but I didn't care about any of them enough that if something happened to one of them, I would feel upset or even slightly disappointed. It is an interactive story game, so there isn't much to talk about in the gameplay department, though it does look and sound great. But overall, the casting of Frank Stone left me feeling truly underwhelmed. As someone that enjoyed Until Dawn and loved The Quarry, I was hoping that at the very least this would be a solid time, but instead it just feels like a waste of time. It's not the worst thing ever, it's just a completely unremarkable experience, and I'm gonna be giving the casting of Frank Stone a 4.5 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And I would love to know, what are your thoughts on the casting of Frank Stone if you're playing it already? Or if you're not playing it, are you going to check it out?